Well, hello and welcome again to our reading of Iliad, Book 3, and we were up to line 111, I think. So, hers Ephat, thus he spoke. This is Menelaus. Hoi de ekaresen. Again, we're getting this aorist passive, and here we're getting the erzan ending without the theta. Aorist passive with a middle sense from Cairo. So thus he spoke, and the Achaioi, the Achaeans, and the Trojans were glad. And so Homer does this by saying, and they were glad. Who were they? They are the Achaeans and the Trojans. El pomenoi, this is that verb of hoping or expecting. In later Greek it's el pisdo. And it normally takes in later Greek a future infinitive, but here it's got an aorist infinitive. So they were hoping or expecting to cease from oidzuroi polemoio, from miserable, wretched war. This, I think, is connected with that cry, oye, of misery. So from this wretched war, from this terrible war. And I'm going to get ra here again for ara, as you might expect, or accordingly. If you want to translate it at all, sometimes you just don't bother, but you should keep in mind that that's the effect of this little particle. And we get a men and a det, so to balance. There again, you don't translate these. It's over translation to say on the one hand, on the other hand in Homer. Then they eruksan from eruko, to draw up. So they drew up their horses. Epistikas. A stikas is like a row. So in rows, in ordered rows, and now the ek is a preverb with the bino, so ek bino is to dismount, and they themselves dismounted. Te and ex edu on top. This is middle here from ek duo. They took off their chukia, their army, sorry, their armour, and so they took off their armour. Tamen kathent epigae, and this ta is for ha. It's referring back to the armour, which kat ethent, they placed epigae upon the earth, upon the land, plesion, near one another. But there was amply between the two sides, olige arura, only a little space. There was but little space around. Arura normally refers to cultivated land, but here it's just meaning land, space. Hector de poti astu. Now poti for pros. I don't know whether we've come across that so far, but poti for pros. It's just an alternate form, which you see commonly in Homer. So Hector, epemper, imperfect, so he began to send 2 heralds to the city. And we get a te and a te on the next line here. So kapelimos, so quickly, pharaoh to bring, anas, lambs, and kalesai, to call Priam. Ate, but the subject here is Agamemnon, Creon ruling. So Lord Agamemnon, pro ie, this is from pro hiemi, is the verb. Hiemi is to send or to hurl, but here it's just to send ahead. Talthybius, now Talthybius of course is always the herald of the Greek side. He's mentioned many times. He's always closely connected with Agamemnon, and of course he, in later Greek plays and things, Talthybius turns up as one of the characters. He's always the herald. So Agamemnon, Lord Agamemnon, sends forth, it's historic present here, I think, Talthybius, Iani, to go to the ships. Notice the accent on epi, because referring back to this word here, and the Glaphoros, the hollow ships, to go to the hollow ships, and Keluen for Ekuel, there's no augment here, and he bid him. Now we get a future infinitive here. This is from Pharaoh. Future is oisemai, and we're getting perhaps a future infinitive, so with the intention of bringing. Now the arnet, as it stands, this is a dual, and so that would be 2 lambs. Now this text we're using here is the Oxford Classical text. In some other texts they've taken the epsilon with the verb as an augment and just put an elision here and referred to 1 lamb, because earlier on they were only told to bring 1 lamb for this side and 2 for the other. So that's possible. So it might be an apostrophe ekeluen, in which case he bid him to be about to bring 1 lamb, or he bid him to be about to bring 2 lambs, if it is in fact a dual here. Hoder and he, ara again, accordingly, did not disobey glorious Agamemnon. So he, for his part, did not disobey glorious Agamemnon. Iris, so this is Iris, this is this goddess, then went Angelos as a messenger to Helen with the white arms, white-armed Helen. This is from Lukos, and Olene is the arm. So the white-armed Helen. In Homer, attractive women have white arms, generally because they've spent most of their time indoors and not got a suntan, which is what a good Greek woman was supposed to do, to keep inside the house and not to get herself into trouble. But so white-armed, and hence it was a sign of beauty to white-armed Helen. A domine, like to, now this is a very common trope in Homer, so like to a galoi, this is the sister-in-law, it's the husband's sister. Now Homer's got a lot of these technical names for relatives and things. This is one of them. So this is the husband's sister, so hence sister-in-law. Grammatically this is a dative, and after this expression of a domine being like to, so like to her sister-in-law. This is actually an Attic declension noun. If you're looking up the nominative of this, it's galos is the form. If you look up, and it's a little bit like Attic naos. So it's an Attic declension, and this is just the dative here. So like to her sister-in-law, and then in opposition to that, the wife. Now this is the wife of the son of Antenor. This is a patronymic ending, and this is a genitive. So this is a little bit tricky here. So to the wife of Antenor, whom Lord, or literally, yes, so Lord Helicaon is this guy's name. The son of Antenor held, and her name was Laodice or Laodike. So to put that in it's in accusative agreeing with the tane here, so the grammar's a little bit awkward here. So the wife of the son of Antenor, and although it's in the accusative, the name is Laodike, whom Lord Helicaon, the son of Antenor, held, understand held as wife. And she was the best in looks, so the most good looking, best in respect of looks, of the daughters Priamoia of Priam. And that's probably where we'll finish for this section.